Hello, welcome to Leadership Implements. I'm Captain Andrew Myers. I'm going to be your mentor for this little journey of ours where we learn the basic principles and overall skills and improvement and our leadership abilities. Today I'd like to talk about personal leadership. So, question of the day, how do you learn to personally lead yourself? Or in other words, what is personal leadership? Take a second to answer the question and compare your answer with what you have written down now to what you have answered in the end of this video, just to see if your perspective of personal leadership changed, if you have a different point of view, just to see like how you think through this definition of what this word means to you. So without further ado, let's get started. So obviously, personal leadership is leading yourself on a personal level, right? I mean, we all do this, but we really don't think about it. It goes from choosing what we want to do in life to careers to military to what school to go to, etc., etc., all the way down to what we have for breakfast in the morning. We lead ourselves constantly without having a definition tied to it. So now, block out any CAP memories or any CAP lessons or leadership principles and just keep them out. Keep them out of your mind. Take them out of your mind. Just hold on to them. We're going to come back to that. I promise. All right? So, regardless of anything, learning to lead and leading others always starts with leading yourself. For all of us, it can be hard at times to do that or even know how to start or improve on it. Here are 3 ways that you can work on leading yourself. You have to have vision, you have to have goal setting, and you have to have discipline. So, vision is like the destination. It's like the destination on the roadmap of life. It gets you constantly asking yourself, where do I want to be in my future? So, naturally speaking, if you have the vision to the end game, the end result of where you want to be in the future, you think, oh, I'll just go from A to B on this roadmap. Not necessarily. You actually really need to go from B to A. Why? Because if you work backwards, it gives you a logical sense of how to get to where you want to go in a simplified way. It should be able to get you thinking, how will I be able to get here from where I am at? And then you start your timeline. So, for example, if a high schooler wants to become an Air Force pilot, so to get there, let's work backwards. In order to be a fully qualified pilot, he has to pass flight school. In order to pass flight school, or even get to flight school, I should say, he really has to pass officer candidate school. In order to get to officer candidate school, you have to pass the examinations and the application process for the health and pilot program through the Air Force. And in order to pass all those things, you have to stay healthy and physically active now and get good grades in school while you're still in high school. And once you see that backwards pattern, that backwards timeline, then what you're going to do is you're going to start making goals saying, okay, so in order, I have to study harder in school and I have to work harder at doing this, and that. So that way you have smaller goals for the end result, which is becoming an Air Force pilot. It may not seem like you're really getting there at the time, and it sounds difficult and a little bit much to be in this detail, but the point is to map out where you want to go and how to get there, and that takes goal setting and discipline. So, goal setting can be tricky. You don't want to challenge yourself too much that you feel overwhelmed, but you also want to have enough challenge to help get you motivated to get the job done. So, for instance, goal setting for your homework. All right, you're going to set a goal for your homework, and you're going to see what you want to do. And by getting it done in time to watch your favorite TV show, that's your reward. Watching your favorite show, getting the homework done. Boom. Simple as can be. Start with a goal that is simple to do, but challenging enough to keep you wanting to finish. Give yourself an award, something that you can accomplish, and know that something to work toward. And if you can have that, then it gives you the motivation to keep moving. And it takes self-discipline. And everybody goes, no, not self-discipline. Discipline? No. Well, hang on now. That may be the one word that no one wants to hear, but it takes courage and responsibility to be able to self-discipline yourself, and it helps you get to where you want to go, whether in life or just in your future in general. It takes discipline to achieve a goal, and then it takes discipline to achieve a vision. So remember to use your time wisely. If you get sucked in with the time hogs, watching TV, being on social media, playing video games, whatever, you're going to miss out on your goal and potentially harm what you set out to accomplish. Now, it does not mean you're lazy, and it certainly doesn't mean that you messed up your life because you found yourself distracted when you're trying to achieve some sort of goal. But if you allow yourself a pass without any sense of consequence, just letting yourself go, oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow, then that is when it becomes the smaller goals for yourself, and that's when things just kind of work backwards, and then you find yourself in square one again because you're not taking the initiative and you're not using the self-discipline to finish those goals, to achieve what you're really setting out to be. And that is when you start hurting yourself, and that is when your leadership starts to suffer because you're not taking the motivation, you're not taking the discipline to keep going. So learn from your mistakes and be willing to take ownership and the responsibility for them. You only hurt yourself if you display a lack of ownership of yourself, because that will boil over to your leadership of you and for others. Because if you're not willing to take the jump and take the pledge to be able to self-discipline now, then you're not going to be able to be as successful later on. And it always kind of creeps up on you, and always is like that giant that just keeps on growing. By not taking the initiative and the responsibility. So these things don't happen all at once, though. Baby steps apply to all these things. Just start small and think small. Instead of trying to get a lot of big tasks done in a short amount of time, try taking a few tasks first until you're comfortable with them. Then gradually add more. Keep going until you realize you are making it to your goal. And the bigger the tasks and things that you add yourself, the bigger you will be in thinking, along with keeping in mind your vision, your big goal. And that is where you want to be, because that's when you find more success. So let's take your leadership lessons from Cap and put them back in your minds. Just go ahead and take them out of your hand and put them back in your minds. All right, apply what you just learned to your leadership lessons that you've learned in the squadron or in your own leadership time. And you're going to find that this is where basic leadership starts. Because the bottom line is that if you can't handle the small things, such as leading yourself, then how can you expect yourself, or how can others be able to expect you to lead other cadets or other members of a squadron or a different organization altogether? So, just to wrap up, this is not an overnight thing. This takes practice and dedication in many different ways. Use the vision that you have for your life, your leadership, and whatever else. Then apply the goals and dedicating yourself to that vision. From there, you can achieve those goals by applying self-discipline. And this is where you find the most success, because you guys are all leaders here. This is why we're doing this, because you guys have the desire and the drive to be able to make that leadership happen. And you're going to be successful because of it. So, questions for you guys to ask yourself: what are some places in your life that you feel you can improve on? Can you apply baby steps to these goals, or is it something that you can make the change and stick with it? Keep on going with these things, and I guarantee you're going to have a lot of success in life and wherever you go. So, I'm Captain Andrew Myers. I thank you guys for your time, and I hope that you guys got a lot out of this. If you have a different topic or something that you'd like to talk about, or like me to talk about to you guys, just hit me up with an email, and you most certainly can. We'll certainly talk about it and see where to go from there. Have a wonderful day, and I thank you very much.